So next up on Tuesday Night Karaoke with Lord H with Turning Portuguese.
We got Tomato, a Wednesday hero, and now his countrymen are coming as well. First came Mello, and then soon followed Matthias, Joe, and Callahan. I've got my red and green flag up, I'm sipping on a super buck. I'm turning Portuguese, I think I'm turning Portuguese, I really think so.
Sing it with me, old tunnel boy.
I'm turning Portuguese, I think I'm turning Portuguese, I really think so.
It's Super Bock o'clock.
Turning Portuguese, I think I'm turning Portuguese, I really think so. Turning Portuguese, I think I'm turning Portuguese, I really think so.
Chance here, a great save, a turner from McClare. Might come, a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. As you've heard, it's Portuguese week here at the Wednesday week this week. So first of all, we have Mr. James on the line. Hello there, James, old boy.
Hola.
Is that Portuguese or Spanish?
I believe it's Portuguese, although technically the phrase should be Hola y bem-vindos a Wednesday Week podcast.
Check you out. Very fancy, old boy.
Google Translate is brilliant.
And of course, our ever-ready Eduardo. Hello there, old boy.
Oh, domo arigato, Hizbara-san. I'm from just outside Lisbon. It's Tokyo. It's almost there.
Just outside where? Bear in mind it's a family show this, Eddie. Be careful, mate.
And there you hear the dulcet tones of Fuginio. Hello, Fudge. Nice to have you back, old chap.
Hola, como estás, mi amigos? I think that's Spanish, but it's probably similar in Portuguese. I'm still reeling. I'm still reeling from the fact that Preston are excited that they might be signing Thomas Vermaelen. So, that's where I've been.
And it's a pleasure to have you back, old boy. And of course, our new starter. We've actually asked her back. Victoria, how are you, my darling?
Oh, hola, muy bien. That's probably Spanish too, to be honest.
We are so Portuguese this week. Of course, there is no aristocracy in Portugal, so I think I'm stuck as I am, really.
No, we need a foreign name for you. So I've been thinking about this, Lord H. We'll just go with the only foreign name I can think of is got it. Got it.
Sounds good to me, old boy. Oh, brilliant. Right, so it's been another exciting week and a bit. We have been sort of waiting for the news to trickle in. It was pre-season and everything, but first things first, we've got some new chaps through the door and some old chaps that are staying where they are. First of all, our big signing, and again, my Portuguese is going to come in very well here. Lucas Joa?
No. What? No.
I shall defer to our European correspondent.
This is Miguel Llera all over again. What did you not call him? Liera.
That's him.
It's Yao. Yeah, Yao. Yeah.
That's what you say when you've stood on an upturned plug.
When you're walking through the night to get a glass of water and you trip on a Lego, that's how you pronounce his name.
Yow!
That's the one.
I'm calling him Joa.
Joa.
Of course, it's been officially, of course, an undisclosed fee, but the figures that's been banded around is around about £2.7 million, chaps and
Look at us with the money. Money.
Proper dollar this. What is even going on, right? So, look, I know we've got Chansiri, and he said, whatever, words to the effect of whatever it takes. All right, and I've never believed that as a sense of he's going to make it rain every single day. It's going to be he's got a plan, he's going to stick to the plan, and he's going to spend what it needs for the plan to come to fruition. But the idea of us dropping £2.8 million, €4 million on a player that has been described as one for the future.
Absolutely.
That is either part two of the schlong on the table, or that's madness because we need that money spent for players for the now, let alone players for the future.
I don't think Chancery's bothered because we're clearly a tax dodge. Do you know what I mean? That's he's just come just to get rid of a few extra money and good. I've been looking after, all right, love. Hello. Am I allowed to do that?
No. Number one, you can't accuse our chairman of tax dodging, and they are the views of Fudge and not the views of the Wednesday Week podcast. And also, you can't just do like a 1970s racism thing.
I watched how great Bullseye was on a programme last week, and as far as it goes, I can get away with that. If they can put it on Challenge TV at 10 o'clock at night.
It wasn't too long ago, ladies and gents, that Carboni and Di Canio were signing, and of course the frozen pizza had been cooked in the oven.
Yes.
The pictures of them eating it. So nothing like a bit of casual racism, is there? Ridiculous.
Can I just distance myself from this part of the podcast, please?
You've got a career going on here, James. You're just straight in an hour.
Again, it looks like a cracking sign. Obviously, we don't know much about the chap. There's the obligatory YouTube videos, but they only show the good bits on there. Next up, the next name through the door, James. I'm going to go to you for this one, old boy.
Right, okay.
Crack on.
So I've been practicing this, so you ready? Papa Pate, Amudu, Mamudu, Papudu, Adu, Sugu.
Round of applause. Very impressive.
I've only just got
completely wrong.
I've only just got my head around Gillian and Sumbu and Dungu. I've only just learned how to say that.
I think we've
Just
agreed
pray that your children don't want his name on the shirt. That's the main thing.
I think we've decided to call him Alan, haven't we? We're going with Alan?
Big Al.
We did pop a little bit of a tweet out about this earlier on, and we had some very interesting ones. We had Pamela, we had the best one that came across was actually from Martin Wire, of course, and that was Little Dave, as opposed to New Who's Dave on there. So
Little Dave.
I think we should call him Scatman because it does sound like the chorus.
Absolutely. Babadoo, 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 babadoo. I'm a scat man.
Yeah.
Can we not bring back Chief? We haven't had a Chief since Efanakoku. Let's call him Chief.
Just Chief, yeah, lad.
So all in all, I mean, 30 years old. It's come from Marseille. Obviously, the last winger we got from Marseille did very well for us. Looks promising.
Yeah, he was in his 30s as well, wasn't he?
That's a big statement, that, Garry.
Of course, one wasn't quite 30 when he arrived. And again, looking at the left-back situation, it's been something we've been keeping an eye on. Obviously, we've really just got Helen back there now. Yes, Helen, and no. I'm being all Yorkshire about it. And we've got Mr. Wiggins that's come, 27. Obviously come from Charlton. Looks fine and dandy to me, that one.
I've been practicing his full name as well, which is Royce Barry Wiggins.
Very well done, old boy.
Yeah, actually, it's Barry with an IE, not with a Y. He's Welsh.
Is that pronounced differently then?
Yeah.
Barry.
Barry.
Royce
What's
Barry.
occurring?
Your European status on this show is just shrinking, Fudge.
No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening and shrinking it.
But one of the best bits of news since we last recorded is Tom Lees has penned a new deal that's going to keep him at Hillsborough till 2018-2019 season, which I think is brilliant.
He's the best gift that Leeds have ever given us. God bless them.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much.
I honestly think that when in the fullness of time we will look back and say, you know what? Yeah, you got Cantona. You had Cantona, and it was basically on a free, but. We've got Tom Lees, and Tom Lees. No, whoa! Before you start judging me, right? Okay, Eric Cantona might have single-handedly won the league for Leeds in a season where they didn't deserve it whatsoever.
Yep.
But Tom Lees is the foundation of a Sheffield Wednesday team which will get us back into the promised land, which will get us back our self-respect, and which will have a far greater effect on Sheffield Wednesday Football Club than Eric Cantona did on Leeds United. He was the cherry on the cake. He was the guy who built on whatever they had. They had Gordon Strachan and Gary McAllister and David Batty and Lee Chapman and half of Wilco's great Wednesday side in the first place. However, he was the cherry on the cake that just put them over the top, right? Tom Lees he was the first building block in a project that is going to take us from being perennial strugglers in the Championship to a team that is on the up. He's the right age, he has the right mentality, he certainly has the talent, and he's the core of this Wednesday team. And we can build a team around tons of Spaniards and Portuguese and whatever you want. But what we've actually got in Tom Lees is the foundation, the cornerstone of the side that we'll look back on in 20 years and say, that was where it all turned round.
And we've seen him play on grass.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very poor grass towards the end of the season, but grass nevertheless.
It's a heck of a lot cheaper to get his name on the back of your shirt as well than the majority of our signings this summer. So that's the big thing. I've got to say, I was probably more excited about us signing Tom Lees up to a longer contract than probably any of the signings that we've made this week.
But
I just think he's such a rock, isn't he? He is. You know, we all know that Glenn Loovens hasn't got age on his side. Tom Lees is the captain of tomorrow's team. He will be the foundation of our team as we move forward, which is brilliant. So that's been my favourite thing that's happened this week. Incidentally, my second favourite thing that's happened this week has been what's been going on social media and how two out of the three signings that we've had this week, one was revealed by Sergio Bush on his Instagram account, which was brilliant. And the other was inadvertently announced by a girl on Tinder who got a match with Joa, and his account already said that he played for Sheffield Wednesday. That was 48 hours before they announced it. Brilliant.
Well done, Kelly. Shout out to Kelly there.
Name and shame as well. I love this. This is great. This is amazing.
So, I mean, looking at the team as a whole, then, obviously we're going to come on to the striker situation a little bit later on in the show. But other than that, is there anywhere else you really think we need to look at strengthening, or are you quite happy with what we've got where we've got it at the moment?
I didn't make it to the St Mirren game this week because I've been on holiday, as I've bragged about.
Repeatedly.
If you look, my dad brought me a programme, bless him, and if you look at the squad size on the back of that programme compared to St Mirren are where we are last season. They've got 16 players, 17 players. We've got like a full actual squad. It's like we're an actual football team that's competing. And it's great to see. It doesn't feel real. It really doesn't.
And it's quality players as well, isn't it? You know, we've talked about. I think if there's one thing we're missing, and we'll talk about this a little bit when we get to strikers. If there's one thing we've been missing, it has been those players who are the absolute head and shoulders above the players who are going to sell shirts and put bums on seats, right? But what we do have is a hard core of 22 players. You have 2 players in every position who can do it in the Championship and that we can reasonably expect to be competitive where we need to be. And that's an exciting place to be, where 3 years ago, we were exactly like Vic said, we were where St Mirren are with 16 full-time players and then desperately pulling loans in for 3 weeks here and 4 weeks there.
So we've got these guys and it's great. We spent a couple of £1 million, which is big money at our level, which is great. I just hope they don't flop. Do you know what I mean? So if we're taking these positions, these attacking midfield positions and these centre mid positions that we've filled, if we're taking them as read, that we've given them, you know, that we've filled those slots with decent players, then I think we're looking at a strong squad. I'm excited about the season. I really am. And it's nice that we'll probably get onto that. Nice that we had the St Mirren game to, you know, have a bit of a hurrah, and then we had these Scunthorpe game to, you know, to tell us where our faults lie and who's our better players and who's not. Are we ready for Bristol City on Saturday? I don't know.
Well, it's a lovely little segue there, Fudge. We'll actually have a little chat about these games because there's been obviously various different opinions about all this over there on the social medias. Let's start off with the Braga game, of course. We didn't have a chance to speak about that. They were just going out to Portugal when we obviously had the last show. Obviously, 2-1 we lost. However, the game, from the highlights I've seen, we were trying to get people out there to speak to us. But the game looked just absolutely fantastic. And the chances we had were brilliant.
Yeah, I've always really wanted to go to one of our little European jaunts that we do every summer now, but they always organise it for the same weekend as Tramline, so still never been able to get there. Watch the highlights from the Braga game. You're right, it looked like a really, really good game. I think it was packed full of incident. We had penalty shouts galore. We hit the crossbar. Obviously, Lavery getting his goal, which was great. I always come back to the same thing with any pre-season game, which is actually what the score is doesn't really matter. What matters is that you see a little bit of promise there and that you see a team that's starting to gel together. We've talked about some of the previous pre-season games where it's felt like we've been a bit disjointed. We've not really been playing as a unit. I think Braga was the first one watching some of the really good moves that we put together in that game. It kind of felt like it was starting to fall into place, and that's great to see. Some of those players starting to gel together. So, yeah, it was a very worthwhile exercise, I think, that.
Absolutely, and the Wednesday Yanks looked like they had a cracking time out there in Portugal. So then, of course, we came back home and we went to take on the might of Scunthorpe. My word.
Oh, dear.
And it started rather promisingly.
It did, and then it didn't kind of continue in that vein, did it? It all went a little bit wrong. It was for the first time, I think, in probably a handful of times in the last 12 months, where we've seen real kamikaze defending by Sheffield Wednesday. Our defending was terrible. Absolutely awful. And actually, again, we threw together some pretty good moves going forward, and there were a lot of positives to take from it. Defensively, we may as well have not been there. I think Scunthorpe threw together 4 attacks and scored 4 goals. Scud it, write it off, forget it. It never happened.
Well, you spoke about the sloppy defending there, but, 2 of those, fair enough, their 4th goal was a belter. It was a brilliant goal. Can't argue with those ones. But the 2 of their goals, to me, it looked like we were practicing an offside trap because the defenders were quite simply just stood waiting for the runners and nothing happened. Is that the kind of thing we can expect to see at pre-season?
It was a bit like watching a Sabutio match, wasn't it? It was that static, the defending. And we know that Tom Lees, we know that Glenn Louvens, we know that the players we've got are much, much better than that. And that's why I just think you've just got to forget about it. Just write it off. If we shipped 4 against St Mirren again a few days later, we'd have something to worry about. But I think conceding 4 against Scunthorpe, it's the first time in about 8 years that Scunthorpe have scored 4 goals. So let's not worry about it.
One positive I would take from that game, though, is Wallace on the wing. The quality of the crossing. First of all, from the actual corner, Nuhu scoring with his head, for goodness sake, crikey. And then, of course, Mattis and Nuhu again in the box passing it about in there. So, again, like I say, there's sort of little shining stars in there. And then on we went to the St Mirren game, our first chance to glimpse Hillsborough and have a nose at the new pitch and the scoreboard in all its flashing glory and beautifulness. And I think it's fair to say a good time was had by all.
I only have feedback from my good old father who went along. And he wants me to tell you that Wallace is a good and slim version of Maguire.
Lovely. Lovely.
Apparently, Latchman looked really good. But he was really gutted that Garry Teal didn't attend. So,
to be fair, there was a special offer on at the Bentley garage for that. So no wonder Garry Teal wasn't there. Because they were giving 0% finance on 2-seater Bentleys.
But of course, cracking game. It's nice to see, and I think it's really sort of G'd the Wednesdays up, getting ready for the season, getting ready for the Bristol game, and it really does show what we can do. One of the most promising things I saw, again, Nuhu, brilliant, involved in the play-up, scoring again with his head, of course.
Is that the second time now, or?
Absolutely, like 2 goals.
Leave him alone.
It's like waiting for a bus. You wait all that time, and 2 come along.
Kaboosh.
Are we good? Kaboosh. Brilliant. Brilliant. Are we going to get into this debacle about adding Nuhu? Is that coming?
It is coming, but just before we do that, another thing about the St Mirren game is obviously the Mail goal, which was a cracking goal. Obviously, he ran with the ball, skip one challenge into the box. But the bit I was watching there is the forwards were dragging the defenders away from him on there, which we've not seen at Hillsborough. We've not seen clever football like that for a long time.
Yeah, I've seen the highlights from that, and I thought, his name does sound like something you get prescribed for, like an STI, like a Virgil. But it was an absolutely cracking goal, and if we can get goals like that from outside the front 2, and even more so from the back four. That's fantastic. And if he can finish like that this season, that's great. We can rely on him for a few goals.
I think we're just on the verge of selling him, aren't we? Is he not on his way to Preston?
Yeah, I think Preston are trying to tap him up, even though I got his name wrong in the intro. But Preston are trying to steal him. It's nice that he's made a play for the shirt, which is great. And you never know. I mean, Carvalho's, his formation, his style of play might fit him. It might fit a player like that. So he might have a stake at the shirt, given his performance against St Mirren.
I think he looked good last season, to be fair. I don't think he's not looked like a bad player, but he's looked like more of an attacking player than we've had before. So it's not worrying, but I think if defence has been so shaky so far, maybe we don't need someone like that. But I don't know, I think he did all right last year, and whenever he came on, he seemed to do okay. Obviously, he lost his place for a while, but I'd keep him as rotation, just keep him in there.
I think that's the way, isn't it? I think he had a couple of really ropey games last season. I can remember a couple of games where I did think this guy is not good enough to play at the Championship level. But then you think Manchester United put a lot into him over the years that he was there, so there must be something there. So he's another one of those, a bit like I think when we talked about Stevie May a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of said we'd probably be a little bit disappointed to see him go. If Emile went, I probably would feel like, well, we've maybe not really had the chance to see the very best out of him, and it'd be a bit of a shame to kind of let someone move on without giving them that chance, really.
I think it's a bit the same feeling as when Paul Corrie went. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never really lived up to it. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Do you know what I mean?
Right, so that pretty much sums up the St Mirren game. It is what it is. A good time was had by all. It's G's all up ready for Bristol. But the one thing I did want to really sort of try and dig into is we're still expecting this marquee striker. Everybody's expecting this striker to come along. My question is, do we need one? I mean,
no. I like Nuhu. I think the entire structure of the team's changed. I think it's different. I think it's a more fast-paced, more continental game. Now that can go one of two ways. I mean, what you can end up with is us playing fancy football and everybody else playing shot kicker football, League Two. Do you know what I mean? Head kicking in long ball nonsense. And we'll just look ridiculous trying to tick attack around them. But this game, this style we're playing, is all about the midfield. It's all about the wingers, and it's all about covering that amount of space. Because what we've signed is players to fill that. I mean, I'm not saying we've signed a Portuguese equivalent of Ronaldo and Bale, but the way they play and the amount of space they cover, and they essentially play on what we refer to in this country as the wing. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Now, what you need up front is a telegraph pole. You need a Hernan Crespo. You need, do you know what I mean? You need an absolute lump stood there, and I think Nuhu fits the bill perfectly. I think there's only one person I'd put in that formation over Nuhu at this level, Chef Kikuchi.
Yeah, you know what though? You've absolutely nailed it, Fudgy. I know, all joking aside, Chef Kikuchi in his prime would absolutely make hay in this Wednesday team. Because it's clear how we're setting up. We're setting up to be a team that all of the attacking threat effectively comes from 6 players in front of this bank of 4, right?
Yes.
And the key man in that is the guy whose job it is not just to hold up the ball, because it's a real English way of looking at things. It's the traditional number 9, the big man up front, etc. We're not actually looking for that. We're looking for a kind of a slightly deep lying fulcrum for what we do more cleverly out on the flanks. But actually, Nuhu isn't just a big lump. He never has been. He has actually got a fantastic touch for a big man. He's strong in the air, but that's not the main reason we put him in there. He's no Nikola Zigic. He's a guy who's actually very mobile. He's got a great first touch. He understands the game and he brings other players into play. The worry for me is that
he looks like Bernard Breslau.
Well, I mean, that's always been.
He looks like Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah,
he's got the hair.
He does. But
you can imagine him stood behind Sid James whilst Barbara Windsor's boobs are popping out. Sid! You can imagine it. See him doing it.
unless we are going into this season with an idea that there are 4 players who are going to chip in 15 goals a season, then we're still missing something, because that's what we need. We need that guarantee that there is going to be 60 goals going in from our attacking play. I actually think Atinuyu is the perfect fit for the system that we've got.
I agree.
But is he? I still think, even looking at what we've got in the rest of the team, I still think we need someone who's going to chip in with between 15 and 20. Let's say 18 goals a season. And I love Atinuyu. I'm a real flag waver for him. But even I can't imagine him scoring that number of goals this season. I think he'll do better than he did last year, and I think he'll create an awful lot more. But is he going to be 20 goals a season? I still don't know. And so I still think that plan A for Chansiri and the committee is to get somebody in who is going to do an Atinuyu job, but at a higher level.
I think Nuhiu gets a bad rap. I think as Sheffield Wednesday fans, there's a tradition to slate the main striker. There always has been. If he's a big guy up front, we'll always slate him. And I think Nuhiu brings up with him a lot of class that this is controversial, that Leon Clark brought with him. And everyone slated Leon Clark, but look what he's gone on to do.
What has he gone on to do?
Yeah, well, he had some touches that actually, when you look back, had really
He broke his toe from kicking a sponsor board.
Yeah, he did break his toe celebrating, as he did that one. But he did have some touches, and I think Nuhiu gets a really, really bad rap, and he puts in 110% effort, more effort than any of us could hope to put in pulling on a shirt, and we all know we'd chop off an arm to pull on that shirt, and I think Nuhiu gives that effort every single time, and he proves himself, and I think he gets a terrible rap just because we love to pick on the big guy.
Because he's not David Hurst, essentially. I mean,
exactly.
That's going to be the thing that you're always going to be doing.
20 years ago. That's
I'm still living on it.
Years ago. Like,
I'm not having it. He's still alive. Give him a shit.
Get over it. He's gone. Like,
I'm still holding out for Paolo Di Canio coming back.
Surely the reason that we slate Nuhiu, or why some people slate Nuhiu, and you know, I agree with everything that's been said, and I do, you know, I'll take the mick out of him a bit, but I do really rate the guy. He just misses far too many good chances. If we're aiming to be a top 6 team this season, we can't afford for our main strikers to be missing that many chances. So by all means, yeah, I agree with what's been said, and I think maybe we can progress with Ati being effectively our first choice striker, but it's got to be last chance saloon for him here. He's got to start bagging goals, otherwise come what January we've got to look at making some changes there.
Welcome back to karaoke. Chuffy, that Lord H again. We don't worry. Be Atty.
Here's a little song I wrote about an oversized Austrian bloke. Don't worry, be Atty. If you need something from a high shelf and you're too small to get it yourself, but don't worry, here's Atty. Don't worry, be Atty now. No, don't worry, no, be Atty. No, don't worry, be Atty now. No.
So I think that all our forwards, Stevie May probably less so, but I think all our forwards will in some way fit into some kind of system that we might need to adapt in particular games in order to get goals and to get points out of them. I don't think you can just have one system and just stick with it and assume that it's going to work. And I think, you know, we've heard Carlos talk about the fact that you need to be able to play different formations and different styles to be able to win football matches.
One striker I do think is really coming on is Lavery. I mean, obviously, bless him, he seems like a really nice chap. He's not the out-and-out sort of playboy type striker that you expect to see these days. But the goal that he scored against Braga, to me, just shows a clever footballer. He gave the defender a little nudge. He carried on. He was fouled by the keeper, got up, and then just slotted it in from a tight angle. And to me, it was just clever football.
I think he's been given a boost by your beautiful song tribute that made all the difference to him.
While we're speaking about that, please, people out there, these songs are meant as jokes. Please don't take them seriously and send me lots of abuse for them. They are supposed to be funny, not serious. Thank you for reminding me of that, James. Sorry, Eddie, you were saying?
I say a bit of physicality from him. I think he's in that year now where he's graduating from being the kind of scrawny academy type product.
Mm-hmm.
He's come back and he looks like a bit of a physical beast as well. I think he can do a real job. I just wonder, again, like I've just said, New You fits the system we've got. I think our other three main strikers actually fit a completely different style of playing. They're going to want the ball played ahead of them. They're going to use pace. They're going to use guile as opposed to playing with their back to goal. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe Carlos Carvalho's got this all mapped out. Maybe there are different ways that we're going to approach these games.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So in that case, you know what? I'm a big flag waver for Lavery. I'm a big flag waver for Sergio Booth. I think he's a really good striker in a traditional mould, in a traditional English style.
And he's a lot more accurate than S6 transfers, by the way, as well.
But mate, even Scud missiles in the Iraq War were more accurate than S6 transfers. So.
To be fair, though, again, the first place I did see Bop's name mentioned.
Is that a Welsh train station?
That was better than I did it. That was good.
It wasn't S6 transfers, but it was a transfer account online, and from there it went to sort of a big French transfer account with over 20,000 followers. So. To be fair, credit where it's due, one of the ITK accounts did sort of come through on that one. So
someone will have spotted them together in Cosmos. That's what happens. That's how you know when you're signing someone. I've got a friend that works there that says that Carlos is in there every other night with someone or other. So
I think the thing to remember about Goo is that Marseille did pay €4.5 million for him. He can't be that bad.
Yeah, so how ridiculous is this that we're here? I think we've actually undersold it a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
That we're in a day where we have signed a current international in Royce Wiggins, a nation which is probably at its height as a footballing power. In terms of Wales, they're as good as they've ever been right now. He's an international there, and we've also signed a guy who has played in the Champions League for Cluj and has been at Marseille. This is...
Hugh's played in the Champions League, don't forget that. He has played in the Champions League.
And he is a fantastic player, and we all love him. So, and this is exactly the same thing that we are now. We are so far removed from the sort of players that we were talking about signing when we started this podcast. When we, in that summer of 2011, we were, happily, going on about the players that we were signing. It's night and day compared to that.
I put a bit of a tweet out earlier on asking about the new striker situation and what the Wednesday fans thought out there. Do we need a new striker? Are we all right with what we've got? And it's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. The sort of retweets for yes, we need a new striker were 31, and the favourites for we're all right with what we've got were 23. That's much closer than I thought it was going to be.
It is. It's probably just as well because there are fewer and fewer strikers out there. I noticed today it was confirmed that Emil Heskey signed a new contract with Bolton, so that's another one.
Mate, that's the season over. We might as well pack up now.
I'm just going to hang up.
Imagine Emil Heskey and Gary Medine up front. I mean, we're buggered. We may as well not bother going. I've just spent 80 quid on 2 tickets to go on Saturday.
Just want to say a big thank you to everyone from Owls Talk this week that raised £450 for Cavendish Cancer Care by doing a sponsored fishing match, and somebody called Hawkeye has paid £75 for my signed Owlet shirt. £75.
Wow.
So I have agreed to go and deliver it personally. He's going to be so disappointed. But it's there, it's signed, it's originally signed. I'm not going to re-sign it for him. That's the original signature from fit 18-year-old me. So thank you so much, everyone. That's amazing.
Oh, where did you get hold of the 1982 shirt from?
Yeah, so a few things that I've spotted over the last week or so. Just a couple of quick things. I just wanted to pay attention to this. You may remember the story that was doing the rounds in the newspapers. It's probably a couple of weeks ago now about the young lad, Thomas, who'd been involved in an accident and had to have his shirt. He was wearing his Wednesday shirt. Emergency services had to cut it off in order to to get him out of the I think the accident that he'd been involved in. We probably all saw on social media the way that Sheffield Wednesday responded to that by giving him a couple of new kits and saying that he could be mascot for a game this season. I just wanted to mention that, what a nice touch that is, and shows we've had quite a few accusations of losing touch as being a family club in recent weeks, so it was nice to see something that shows that we've got a club that are still in touch.
Yeah, big up Lindsay Taylor. Well done, Lindsay.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Now, something that caught my eye yesterday, and I'm not very pleased about this, is if anyone else saw this, it was doing the rounds on kind of Twitter and Facebook yesterday of someone who's got far too much time on their hands, who's run a simulation on Football Manager for the next 1,000 years.
Saw that. Yeah. Gave me the ump.
Yeah.
What?
And if you've not heard about this, you're going to love it. And basically, the conclusion of this is that over the next 1,000 years, the team that's going to dominate English football is Sheffield United.
Oh, can we put a beep over that? Can we put a beep over that? I can't.
Brilliant. April the 1st?
No, honestly, he's right. I think between the 2300s to the 2700s, Sheffield United absolutely dominate the Premier League, according to Footy Manager. And
well,
never
hold on tight, Blades fans. It's coming.
Just to put it in context, the only other team that did win the Premier League in the same period was Rotherham. So we all know how realistic that is.
Well, listen, we've all played that game, and listen, if you're listening, Lad Bible, we get it. Some people apply for jobs using their Footy Manager career. Leave that alone. It's a done gag. Thanks for playing. But I don't know where I was going with that. I just need to get that digging.
Can I just talk about Saturday?
Fire away.
So it's back. We're going back. We're back to the fortress. We've got a screen. We've got a pound pies before the match. We've got pound beers. Like, what more do you want?
Where we've got what?
Pound pies, I think, and a pound beer. There's some sort of offer on. Everything's a pound at so-and-so time.
Basically, it's pretty simple. You pay your £39 to get in on the cop, and you get pies and pints for £1. So, the club are listening to us.
We've got LED TVs. So we've got a new scoreboard.
I've been feeling really good about the stuff that's been done off the field and the LED scoreboard. And you know what? It is beautiful. It is a work of art. However, this week I had a direct message on Twitter from a mate of mine who happens to be living in Alabama, right? And I've been going on about how Sheffield Wednesday were coming back. We're updating our stadium. There's so much history there. Everything's fantastic. And now we've got the brand new scoreboard, the brand new video screen and all this sort of stuff. And, we are now the home of sport. Globally, we are the home of sport. And so he reminded me that not only were the College of Auburn, which is a big American football college in Alabama, not only was the College of Auburn founded in 1820, so, kind of before Sheffield
47
Wednesday.
years.
Yeah, unfortunately. But also that they, this week, have just turned on their video screen. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, the Americans, of course, everything's bigger, but it's not going to be as big as ours. Ours is the biggest in the Football League. It turns out that theirs is 60 yards across.
Wow.
Jesus.
Right? And so I look a picture of this. And basically, if you imagine the Cop at Hillsborough, because they're in Alabama, it's a bit warmer, etc. They don't have a roof on it, right? But imagine the Cop at Hillsborough, right? And the entire width of the Cop at Hillsborough with a video screen on top of it in widescreen. Imagine a widescreen telly the size of the Cop. That's what they've got. I wanted to check out. I thought it might be one of those, original widescreens where, yes, okay, it's as wide as the Cop, but it's also 3 times as deep as the Cop and weighs more than an entire elephant. So, I think we need to at least get our achievements into perspective because big shout out to Auburn, Alabama. You guys are great. You're fantastic. You're egg chasing. You're doing whatever you do with football, but. We're still the original Wednesday. You can't take that away from us.
Let's not forget as well that we've actually now got proper televisions in the back of the stand, so we can go for a beer before half time and watch the remainder of the game. Now, where I sit in the north stand, we've had these for a while, but there were kind of old Sanyo TVs, like with a big back on them, and the colour had gone a little bit funny. We now have proper actual screens in the concourse. That's big news.
I've got some other business to attend to, and I'm going to bring it to the fore. And it's a crap gag from the Southerners. It's a new segment I'm bringing in that I'll have forgotten about by next week. And I was trying to tell my assistant manager, who's not into football at all, and he's from Hastings, and I was showing him the new shirt of what a thing of beauty it is, yada yada yada, and he said, Shansiri, is that how you Northerners say that you might be able to win a game? I went, what? He went, we've got a chance here, eh?
Can I bring in a negative?
What's
Is that allowed at this point while we're
Yeah.
feeling so positive? The only thing I saw today was in the programme that my dad got me from the St Mirren game. We've only brought in 7 academy players this year, and that seems pretty low.
I don't know. I'm all for Liam Palmer though. I'm still, if Liam Palmer's still in the squad, then the academy is doing great for me.
But I think 7 players to come in seems a pretty low number considering the amount we invested in it all. I mean, the players must be out there. There are lads willing to give anything to play in a blue and white shirt, in any shirt, and 7 seems very, very low.
Is it time to now give Luke Bowden a ring and say it's time to come back?
Come on, lads.
Your 12th year in the Wednesday Academy.
Leave James O'Connor behind in Orlando and come back here.
Right then, ladies and gents, that's around about it for this week. A couple of things I would like to say thank you for this week. Obviously, you'll have heard the little karaoke bits we've had in the show as well. I'd like to thank at El Tav for the Changing Portuguese idea out there as well. And also I'd like to thank at Sherry Wiles for the New Who idea as well for the New Who song. So thank you very much. Please, if you do have any ridiculous songs, just tweet us the basis of an idea and we'll completely ruin it for you. That's what we're here for. We're here for you, ladies and gents. So, of course, you can get hold of us over there on Twitter at TWWcast. Yamez, where can people get hold of you, old boy?
So I am at James Marriott, or alternatively, anyone that's going to the match on Saturday, I'll be in my new seat on, I think it's row 18 of the North Stand, so feel free to throw things at me or whatever you may wish.
I sit just behind you. I'm going to throw things.
Feel free, it's fine. I'm used to it.
£1 pies, that's it.
It's the 4th year in a row that I've had to move seats through people throwing things at me, so I'm quite accustomed to it.
Victoria, so where can people find you, my dear?
You can find me at Victoria1867 on Twitter.
Fantastic. Eduardo.
Yes, as always, at Sausage Arms on Twitter. I'm thinking that maybe it's the time to bust out the Wednesday night flag. If for no other reason, I actually want to tread the beautiful blue tarmac that we've got. So I understand the Wednesday night flag is massively stinky. It costs an awful lot of money to wash. Frankly, I'm not bothered about whether it gets washed or not. But yes, if we have a decent enough turnout at £39 a ticket in the Cop, then I'm going to be there. I'm going to be unfurling the Wednesday night flag. So come and say hello.
Fantastic. And Fuginio, where can people get all of your nonsense, old boy?
I'm on Twitter at Dan Fudge, and I'll also be there on Saturday, screaming and shouting for the chaps. I'm coming all the way from Southampton because that was the only deal that I was allowed to make with the missus. She took me to Southampton last week, so I'm dragging her to Hillsborough this week, and she's got no idea. Because right, listen, I went to Southampton to watch them in their Europa League game, qualify with Vitesse Arnhem, which is where we got Orlando Trustful, I think. And
Brilliant.
I know, see how I tied it in there. And they didn't serve any beer. So what she witnessed was, I think, is referred to as the worst side of me she will ever see.
Well, I mean, sober.
Yeah. I you know when you're twitching and you walk in, and I went, 2 lagers, please, and we're not serving any beer. You what, love? And you know that face that you pull? You know, I've already had to mentally prepare myself to the fact that this is going to cost me the best part of £9 for these 2 beers. Do you know what I mean? And I'm now £10 better off, but still mardy.
If you do see Fudge...
Anyway, Dan Fudge on Twitter.
Buy him a beer.
Give him a pound pie. And of course you can get hold of me over there on Twitter as well at Garrry.
Got it.
And Lord H, that's L0RD_H. Please do say hello. Right, that's it for this week. We shall see you very soon. Be good, and if you can't be good, be safe, and we shall see you next week.